Hello, and welcome to North of 1867. I'm Kevin, and I'm your host. This channel is all about all things Canadian, past, present, and future. I hope you can just sit down, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, so this is part 3 of the series of the ports, either already built and just being improved or brand new ports and infrastructure and roads and railways and everything going to Hudson's Bay and James Bay. Okay, so this third one here is near Moosonee, Ontario. Okay, and that's about I think 20 kilometers or so from James Bay. Okay, so they're going to try to they're proposing to build a port and a railway to that port, or a roadway or something, to access that port and build a port in the future. And so here's what they're proposing. Uh, it's it has an existing railway there going to Moosonee. It's called the Ontario Northland or Ontario Northern Railway, and it terminates at the town at Moosonee. This proposed plan has been called the Nistanan Project, which I think a lot of the projects right in that area, going from there right up to Port Nelson, that's all part of the Nistanan. The utility corridor coming from out west, coming east, right to James Bay and Hudson's Bay. Nistanan, like I said before, it means all of us. Okay, that's what that means in Cree. Okay. Okay, so I got this right off of the Nistanan website. So thanks to them. Their website is www.neestanan.ca. www.neestanan.ca. Okay, and this is Nistanan Trade Route Proposal. Okay, and really, okay, so here it is here. Okay, the red is what they, and of course many other organizations in that are also recommending. And see, you've got the old trade routes here in black, basically going from Alberta here out this way through BC, and going over this whole trade route here. With this, if bitumen and oil was shipped through here to James Bay, here's the trade corridor here. Here's the Nistanan utility corridor, right in here. It's a big wide swath here, just in case they want to build other things, or if they have to go around Little Lake or whatever. It's all basically been approved by many of these indigenous nations and tribes, and individual villages and towns and whatever going through there. I think basically a lot of these here are just probably not much more than villages. Towns are, a whole town is kind of big for way up in this part in the north here. Even Port Churchill, that town, or Churchill, Manitoba, is probably not, barely meets the size requirements for a town, but it is a town. Okay, so anyway, so that goes up here. The old trade route is here, and
And then the red is if they got the port opened up here for like beefed up and everything, so they could get oil going through there and bitumen. Anyway, so that would go through here, and then you can see, to get to even just like South America here, it would be a lot shorter as opposed to going all the way around this way, right? But anyway, so that's what that is. Existing trade road is in black, and the new one, if they get one of these ports built here of the three selections they have, like Churchill is already done. It's already a port, but it needs, the pictures that I showed you in video 2, you can see it's got the sort of like the grain elevator that goes up from the what do they call those, the grain storage buildings, okay? They've the grains silos or whatever. I wouldn't call it a silo, I don't think. But anyway, so they're the storage buildings, and then when a ship comes up alongside that port mooring dock there, and then it just goes up that conveyor, the grain out of that big building goes the conveyor, and that goes up quite high, so it's above the ship, and then the little chutes come down, and different grains go in different storage areas of that ship, or the ship might be one grain only. But anyway, so it fills up that ship. Well, you can't have oil and bitumen going through crude oil or bitumen going through that. It has to there'd have to be a whole section built, maybe to the left of it or to the right of it, or tear the whole thing out and put a whole new structure in there, both for part of it for wheat and part of it. But I don't know about that. I don't know what kind of shape the existing structure for grains in that. I don't know, how well maintained that's been or how beefed up it's been lately or whatever. But regardless, the biggest thing with this, I think, is with this new corridor, everything going through here, they want to make sure that they can get Alberta oil and bitumen through there. Right now, I think the environmentalists are saying, they're trying to say that they're only going to ship the bitumen because people are afraid that it's gonna derail, and it's gonna be, and people are gonna say that we're just exporting our oil to be burned somewhere else in another continent or something, and it's gonna contribute to global warming over there. And really, they're just so they're trying to say that no, we're sending the bitumen, and they're going to use that for the roads over there, so it won't get burned. It won't turn into, global warming, fossil products and combustion from fossil fuels and contribute to global warming. So it's going to be used for, asphalt and roads and that. But I think they know darn well that all they have to do is they probably ship that over as bitumen, and they get it the same on their end too, basically. And once it gets over there, they'll have a facility there in Europe. They'll have facilities over there to break that all down and turn it into usable crude oil. And all they'd have to say is, well, we can't tell them what to do with their bitumen, But anyway, so that's just that. And if you want to go to this Nistanan website, it tells you, when you go to the website, www.nistanan.ca, like I just told you, all these little points on here, there's all little notes and everything on these points that, describes some of the process of shipping, where they're stopping, where they're going, and what they might be shipping, and all that stuff. If you want to go to that website, and just all you do is hover over each point, and there's some information there for you if you want to check it out. But anyway, this is an indigenous website, okay, or well, at least the narrator was. and I'm pretty sure it's indigenous, representing their group and everybody that's involved there. But you can go there and you can learn some things if you like. And okay.
But Ontario likes the idea. Doug Ford's right into it. Building, on James Bay and entering it from that way. Problem there is it's a lot more shallow, and a lot more dredging has to be done, and build another island out again, just like at Port Nelson, and run a bridge to it and all that. But anyway, much of the fill for the causeway and the island would come from dredging in and around the area. Above all, the first thing that must happen is consultation with the indigenous people who own those lands through treaty land deals made decades and way over a century ago. In many cases, agreements must be made with indigenous people before anything can happen. Okay. Now, there's negative impacts of any shipping port in the Hudson's Bay region. Could be, number one, the chance of contamination of the land from a train derailment or a shipping spill. Number two, impacts on fauna and flora. Okay, you build bridges and tracks and trains and all that going through there. It's going to affect the wildlife, but hopefully not too much. And if they can make, they can improvise and make things that help for fauna and flora to carry on, if they're watching out for that and paying attention. The promotion of never-ending consumption of carbon fuels around the globe with all this. Have you noticed that that's been going on ever since Donald Trump took office in the United States? He's like drill baby drill, and all of a sudden even Mark Carney, everything's going full force like there's no tomorrow, like global warming and climate change and carbon dioxide filling our atmosphere on our planet, like as if that's not happening, but it is. Okay, so anyway, but supposedly now, and it seems to me too, that this is our only choice right now. We have to improve our economy to build up our defenses and things like that. So there's no other way right now. Okay, we're going to need fossil fuel for years anyway. But I think we need to keep our eye on the ball as far as improving our technologies go, like carbon capture and all that. I'm not sure if that's the answer or what's the answer right now, but that might be our only chance, because there's no way. You can't stop it. I can't stop it. The use of carbon fuels. And for now, we need it anyway. But, like I said, I want to make sure that, our government is developing real plans and real policies and everything to try to really cut back on that eventually, to fight it. And maybe that's only going to be with new technology, ways to get rid of the carbon dioxide, to carbon capture and things like that. But anyway, like I said, so there will also be, number 4, displacement of some indigenous families who might not agree with local tribe decisions. Different indigenous nation decisions. And, so for now, I guess we've got to take a chance and, keep going with our carbon fuels and keep going with new technologies, and hopefully, greed does not overtake the human race and just destroy us all, because that's one big thing. Okay, so I think it would be a great idea as well to build a huge military base in this area on Hudson's Bay as well, along with the other one in the Arctic that they're going to be starting to build. But anyway, we're going to cover that one in another episode. But building a base at Hudson's Bay, that way Canada can protect this shipping route and protect us from invasion from enemies entering the Hudson's Bay, as the German subs did.
So during the summer of 1918, during World War One, a U-boat similar to this one right here, a German U-boat, attacked some fishing vessels in around the Churchill area in Hudson's Bay. It slipped in there and attempted to attack some of those vessels there. Anyway, so you just never know where one of these enemies could show up someday in the future too. So we should be paying attention to that and improving our defense to handle any kind of situations like that, because Hudson's Bay and James Bay, they come deep south into our country from the Atlantic. So well, I shouldn't say deep south, but they come quite a ways south. Anyway, so I did mention before that it was World War II, but I was wrong. It was actually World War I, so I wanted to make that correction.
With the new base and the upgrades to the shipping port, this increases civilian population in the area. The military personnel, along with the new homes being built, new businesses opening, there will be a huge increase in the amount of goods needed by this community alone. More shipments of goods will be required to be sent by rail for the civilians and the military. Goods could eventually start coming from the south, the east as well. Negotiations have to be had between the federal government and the provinces, west, east, and from the northern areas of those provinces and the southern areas as well, as far as developing and shipping routes go, from the south to the north in the Arctic to where the new deep sea military base port is going to be in the Arctic. Like I said, that town of Churchill, and even not far from there, Port Nelson, if they did something there as well, there would be quite a bit more population out there, quite a bit more shipping needs just going to them. Then also, that'll be good business for the port, for the railway, for the port, and then of course the main goal is to get shipping to other continents, to South America, to Europe. They were gonna ship to Russia from Hudson's Bay back, I think, even like as early 2013, and I think that Ukraine war started in 2014. Not the big war that they had, but the invasion, when Russia took Crimea. Okay, back then, I think that's probably what put the kibosh on serious plans to start shipping grains or whatever to Russia. So, I'll be investigating that further, and also we'll be talking about this new Arctic port that is being considered now. I thought I heard it was improved, but again, it's under feasibility studies and being processed and that. So, as so much is. And I think we have to, like I said before, we have to continue to keep our politicians, keep their nose to the grindstone, as so to speak, because you know, in 5, 6, 7 years from now, if we get invaded by another country, we can't say, no, now hold on, don't come yet. We've got big plans. We're gonna build a new military base and over here, and we're gonna improve our military. We're gonna have more planes and ships and subs and that. So you got to wait now. It's got to be a fair fight here. You can't just come and invade us when it's not a fair fight. Just like a street fight. You got it's got to be a fair fight in a street fight, right? You hold the door open for the guy as he's coming out. You're both going out behind the pool hall in the alleyway, and you reach out and hold the door open for the guy. Be a nice guy in that form, and then you walk up to each other like this, and you go like this. Maybe you do a high five first, like the boxers doing that. Touch gloves, only you got no glove. Touch knuckles, and yeah. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, it doesn't work that way. If our politicians are still talking about this in 5 years from now and doing feasibility studies, we might as well kiss our butts goodbye. Okay, because global warming is going to increase the threats toward our country. There are other countries out there that want what we've got right now. And down the road, when there's less fresh water available, when the heat is just scorching and crops won't grow in places maybe like the United States, maybe that's just like a sauna everywhere there by then, and maybe Canada is at the point where maybe it's like some places in the States now. Maybe average days in the spring, summer, and fall are 90 degrees. We don't have any more 70 and 80 degree Fahrenheit summers and spring and fall. It's just like roasting all the time, but we could still grow crops maybe. I'm not sure about that. That's another thing that I'm going to be looking into. But, for sure, this global warming is going to be causing problems. It already is. Water levels are rising, record-breaking heat waves, droughts, storms, everything, everywhere. So, a place like Canada might be far better for growing crops during that time when we're, of course, our climate will probably warm up too, but not as much as climates that are already hot.
Okay, so here is the Hudson Bay. I call it Hudson's Bay, but officially on the Google, it's Google Maps. It's called Google Earth. Sorry, that's where this is from, Google Earth. They call it Hudson Bay. Anyway, I've already read that there's different names that it's called, but here is the Moosonee in James Bay, where we're talking about in this video. And of course, the last video was Port of Churchill, where this is already an existing port, but it needs improvement. Big time work there to get oil from Alberta here. Now here is right in here somewhere like this. Just picture a big swath here, or might be in between, kind of right like that. That is the Nisenan corridor, utility corridor. Okay, and they've got approvals from a lot of the indigenous through here, I guess. That they're all for it, and but they might have some, still to negotiate with and that, and of course, feasibility studies and all that going through there, whatever they go to do. So, the Port Nelson, that was the the old port they tried to build over 100 years ago, and this is a totally new one that they're proposing down here. This is really shallow here in James Bay. That would all have to be dredged out to an island out here, towards they'll have to make an island out here, likely, and to make it deep enough for oil tankers and everything to come into, or even just grain maybe, but other shipping. But then here, I think Canada can really only afford to put money into, like a significant amount of money into only one port here. It's going to be this one, and this one could be maybe something smaller, maybe more provincial, maybe, but anyway, so you can see this goes out from Hudson Bay out right into the Atlantic Ocean over here, okay, and anyway, so like I guess Fort McMurray is somewhere here, over here, right? And or it might be up here. I'm not sure. I'm not terribly great with geography, but I know it's right over here somewhere. That's a big area. Anyway, so they want to be able to get that oil from there. Instead of just going west through the Rocky Mountains, they want to bring it this way and get it right into here. Then it cuts a lot of distance to get it out here and get it to other destinations, instead of going the other way, right? But anyway, so that'll be one of these projects. Will turn out to be a huge project very soon, I hope. Nothing's been finalized yet, but the government's doing its studies and negotiating and all that, probably even raising funds and capital for these for any project that happens. So that's about that.
But anyway, so that's it for now. Please like and subscribe, and make a comment if you like, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.